Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Weekly Wave. First thing I do want to talk about is 2023 data. There are several districts that we are still not getting your 22-23 data. I'm not going to share who those are right now, but if you're concerned that you might be one of them, please stay on after our call is done and we can verify if you're on the list or not. So just if that's something you have a question about, please just hang on after the call is done. I first want to start out with our STN Wizard. We need you to go in. It's located on single sign-on now when you're trying to resolve your STN issues. There are students who cannot automatically be assigned an STN. And in those situations, you can't do it yourself. You'll have to request state assistance through the STN app once you're reviewing it. If it's a brand new student, you won't be able to just request a new STN. There is a field with notes that you just need to note who you are and your contact name and say new student or not sure and send it to us and we will create that STN for that student. Excuse me. There is also a flow chart available on the Oklahoma State Department of Education website under student information documents and guides that shows what's required to actually create an STN. And it's really good information and lets you know if you're missing something, and that's why you might have an error or a validation error that needs to be corrected because you don't have a field that's required. And remember, if a student doesn't have an STN, they're not going to appear on any of your reports. And I just mentioned that you're not going to be able to create a new STN. You'll need to send for state assistance, and then we will assist you in doing that. We are seeing several STN requests for the same student. So if you have a student that came through on the transfer system, and they didn't have an STN initially, we assigned one at that point. And so when you go in to enter your enrollment, you're not going to have an STN in your system at that point. It's going to go back through the STN Wizard, and you might see it in there to resolve. It's going to say something like OSDE test districts. So if you've got, the students through a transfer and they've requested an STN, you'll see that in there and be able to resolve it yourself. Ownership, it's also located on the single sign-on, and if you have students that are in conflict with themselves, please provide the student STN and the school that's showing the conflict and send that information to studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. Also keep in mind, if you have a student that's enrolled and does not show up, like during the first 10 days of school, you should check your ownership wizard to see if you're in conflict with that student, because it's very, very possible they've enrolled in another district. And once you remove them or clear them from your system, it's going to clear the conflict as well. Data validation. We ask that you go into the wave itself and check your district for validation errors. If you need any direction in resolving some of these issues, you can please contact us and we'd be more than happy to assist you. You can do that by sending an email to studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. And the way you get to your validation errors in the wave is you'll go to data validation at the top, or go to the district tab at the top, data validation, and then the data validation wizard. And it will show you if your district has any validation errors, or if they don't, it'll all show 0. So if you have questions, again, reach out to us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. XSD errors. When data sent that doesn't meet the minimum required validation requirements, or it's bad data not entered in the state reporting or state system for reporting, you're going to have to reach out to your SIS vendor and provide the some of the information off the XSD error. So the way you get to know whether you have XSD errors is you're going to go to district and then scroll down at the bottom, and there's going to be an XSD validation error wizard. Click that open and it will expand and show you what errors that you have. So any district level user in your district can access these, and they also show up under, on your dashboard in the Wave. So it's at the very bottom. So if you wonder if you have any, I would check there, and then you can follow the path to see what they actually are. The information that you'll need to provide to your vendor is going to be the date of the error description, the object that has failed, the XML file, and you can copy and paste those out of the Wave, put them in an email, send them to your vendor, and they should be able to see exactly what the issue is and help you in correcting that. So that is the best way to get those resolved. The direct certification report is now available in the Wave. So that's another thing that I've seen lately, is that if you go to direct cert and you're seeing that the only thing that you're seeing is last year's numbers, it could be that you're not sending us this year's data. So please review that. And if you're only seeing 2022, you might want to reach out and verify whether you're sending this year's data or not. The next thing we have is our Wave Consolidated training, and that is taking place taking place next week. And so we will be in Woodward on the 22nd. We'll be in Pryor on the 23rd. And we've actually opened up some spaces in Pryor. So if you went in and tried to register and it showed it was sold out, we have added additional space there. So please go in and check that out if that was the location you were attending. On the 24th, we're going to be in McAllister. And unfortunately, we are at capacity there, but we are working on a way that we might be able to Zoom that meeting. So we will send out notification through our Gov delivery to let you know how to do that since that location is sold out. We will be in Lawton on the 25th, and we will be in Oklahoma City on the 26th. And I believe that location we've expanded the registration as well on that one. So please go in and register if you haven't already. And like I said, if you're at a location that's already at capacity, like McAllister, we are working on a way that you can see that via Zoom. New Wave accounts. So we're getting a lot of calls for district users that need access to the Wave. First thing that needs to happen before we can provide that access is your superintendents have to go in and provide you with the access on the SSO first of all. And then that employee needs to contact OMES and request an affiliate's login. And it usually takes about 24 hours for that access to show up. But you can send an email to service desk at omes.ok.gov. And they will open up a ticket to provide you with that affiliate's logon. Okay, so if you have questions about anything and you need to, or anything that was covered on the slide, you can email us at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov. We also have resources available to you at all times on the Oklahoma State Department website under student information, documents, and guides. So we will open it up for questions right now. Let's see what we have. And I see Cody has actually, Jennifer, what's the exact title of the STN flowchart on the website? I'll get that for you, Jennifer, and I'll put it in the chat. And Cody's saying if you have any old XSD errors, you can email Cody at studentdatainfo@sde.ok.gov and he can delete them and see if they come back. If not, then you'll have to contact your vendor. Karen, what is the exit code for pre-ISP students?
Well, that kind of depends, Nancy.
Okay.
It depends on what happened as far as the evaluation goes in the special ed department as they were evaluating the student. If the student was found eligible for ISP services through the district, they would just exit the student to in that enrollment and re-enroll using a first, probably the appropriate entry code. If they were not found eligible, they would go ahead and just in that exit the student. And let me find the right exit code real quick. Not for pre-ISP. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here with Jim. So we're talking. Give me just a second to look up the exit codes and go on to the next question. I'll come back to that.
Okay. Next question is the new STN automatically going to be assigned to new pre-K and kindergarten students, or do we have to request hundreds of those now? Those new ones come, I mean, I don't know, Eric, does it go automatically to us or do they have to request assistance? I think they come to us actually, Jill. So if it's a new student, it's going to come to us for assignment. And Chris, you're not able to process virtual to virtual transfers in the transfer apps. Students would be eligible not having attended the previous virtual since May. This has been an issue in the rollover. So Chris, were they were normally, they were at a virtual location initially, and then they're trying to do an app or a transfer. Can you kind of speak what's going on to it a little more?
They were at the previous virtual school last school year, but since the July rollover, it's not been allowing us to process those. It gives us an error.
What kind of error are you getting?
I knew you'd ask that, so I'm trying to pull one up real quick.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay. Did you get that answered, Nancy? Sorry, I was in here talking.
Which one?
The one you were just talking about.
The STN or the transfer one?
Yep.
He's looking to see what kind of error he's getting.
Okay. So back to Karen's question. So if they exited and they are going into school, you can just change the entry date. I apologize. You can just change the entry date to the date that they actually started receiving services, and just go on with that. If they didn't qualify for ISP services, then you would exit them. And honestly, it doesn't matter which exit code you use, but I would just use either 9999 or whatever. And I don't usually use that one. You will usually don't hear me say that come out of my mouth, but it doesn't matter in this particular case. What exit code you use, because the student's not going to be served.
They're giving some dates.
And the dates, all the dates matter, but the codes don't on that particular type of exit. But I am continue to look for the exit codes again, so that we can give you a better idea.
Well, I mean, is it possible that they use 3505? And I know it's
3505 would be fine.
okay. All right. Chris, you still looking for, oh, district transfers for one virtual district to another are not allowed. So he's getting an error on, that's the error he's getting when he's trying to do a virtual to virtual transfer.
Right, and that's before I even pull up a student. I just put in another virtual school and it says that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check with,
Well, I know that there are rules around that, Chris, in the statute. So we might have to have a conversation with Ryan. And I
yeah,
know, obviously, we're gonna have a conversation with the application developer. If we don't have that in there correctly, if there's a rule in there that we're enforcing that's not necessarily the perfect rule. Yeah, but Mindy, yes, 3504 would work as well for that withdrawn from school under the age of compulsory attendance. If they're under the age, if they're under 5, you can use that. That is a perfectly good. You could use 3505. Or yeah, I mean, you could use any of those. You could use 1913. Well, not really. You can't really use that. They didn't transfer. But yeah, I would say 3505, 9999, 3504, something like that. Back to Chris, direct transfers from virtual. I'm gonna look into this. We're gonna look into this over the next couple of days, and hopefully we'll have an answer for you next week when we come around. Chris, are you gonna make it to one of the?
I'll be I'll be in OKC, I believe, or
Okay.
that area.
okay. We'll get an answer for you though. Hey, Eric, on Jill's question, on the assignment process for the STN, if it's a brand new student, does that automatically come to us?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Just want to clarify. Barbara has a question about ownership errors. She's asked for a repull, but she's not sure if the wizard is behind or if there's another issue. She's had a few districts asking for us to drop students, but they've already dropped them in their district. The dates should not be conflicting with the other
What's the
districts.
district name? Sorry, Barbara. You know where?
It's Bartlesville.
All right, Cody. Delete and re-request, Cody. And then that should, is Cody on? Yeah,
Yeah, he's on.
that should take care of that.
Thank you.
Welcome. Leslie, we let pre-K enroll and it assigned their STN and enter them into the wave. These are mainly the ones who applied for before the online interactive form became available. Yep.
Thanks for that, Leslie. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, if you enroll your student, no matter what grade they're in, even pre-K, especially pre-K, actually, they've never had an STN in a lot of cases. In some cases, they have had an STN. Some of them were receiving services from Sooner Start, which issues an STN. Some of them requested a transfer, which when they do that online, it issues them an STN. But no matter what happens, how they get into your school, when you enroll them in your student information system, that system sends it to us, and we send in the demographics to our STN creator, I guess. It's a soft piece of software, and it assigns their STN, and it looks for them if it was already assigned. So yeah, we will automatically assign that. You don't have to do that manually.
Okay, Jennifer, there's actually not a form. I mean, when you're entering your student into your system, it goes through an STN process, assignment process. So there's not an online interactive STN form.
All right, let's stop the recording and let people come off mute if they want to